Good morning, everybody. So today's Saturday, and the theme that is most on people's minds today is, are we there yet? You know, we're like a bunch of little kids in the back of the car. I know you've heard others say this, whining, "Mom, I can't take it anymore. Are we there yet? Please." And it's made me think a lot about, what are we doing and what does it look like to be there? What is there anyway? Where do we want to go? So in our case today, we're we're longing for an outcome to the presidential race in the United States. We're longing for an outcome no matter what side of the equation we're on. We all just want an answer. We want to know. We want it to be over. We want clarity. And it's not possible. And it's making us crazy. So that's where we are. So I thought I would talk about that a little bit today. Are we there yet? Because sometimes that's how we start to live our lives. Maybe not sometimes. maybe that's often the pattern that we get into for living our lives. Are we there yet? But we don't quite know what there is. So, where are we trying to go and what are we trying to get to? Because our life is here. So, what are we thinking when we have that feeling of dis-ease, of not this, no, this isn't okay. I want that. What do we imagine that we're going to get from the knowledge of who won this presidential election? We already kind of know. We're pretty close to being sure. And then what is that going to change for us? Is that going to cause us to be instantly enlightened? No. Is it going to cause us to have a sense of ease? Perhaps, for a bit. Is it going to cause us to have a permanent sense of ease? No. We'll be fine for a few minutes until the next thing comes up. So this, are we there yet? Or another way of phrasing it is, anywhere but here, is the dis-ease that is suffering. And it is this dis-ease, this very wanting for things to be somehow different than they are, that's the root of all of our suffering, not just in this election, but in our lives. So I thought I would talk about that a little bit. This week, many in the Buddhist Sangha have been reciting the Diamond Sutra. The Diamond Sutra is, I don't know what to say about it. It's quite wonderful and beautiful, and I can hardly say the name Diamond Sutra without tearing up. The Diamond Sutra is the teachings on emptiness and walks you through things. Takes about an hour to recite, and it gets to the Gata at the end. So a lot of us know the Gata from the Heart Sutra, the Gate Gate, Para Gate, Parasamgati, Bodhisattva. But we're maybe not as familiar with the Diamond Sutras, and just the very sound of the words wakes us up. The Diamond Sutra, the last 4 stanzas, the law of everything produced by causation, a dream, a phantom, a lamp, a bubble, a shadow, also like dew, also like lightning. All conditioned phenomena are like this: a dream, a phantom, a flickering lamp, a bubble, a shadow, also like dew, also like lightning. These words, not their words, but the lamp, the light that these words shine, give me so much hope. They spark something, a dream, a phantom, a lamp, a bubble, a shadow, dew, a flash of lightning. So is all conditioned phenomena like this. Hope, right there. So these words aren't meant to be understood with our thinking brain. They're meant to be experienced and lived. And they have to do, of course, with complete non-attachment and the transience of existence. You know, a bubble. A bubble arises out of the water, pop, back in the water. Where is it? What happened? Something happened, this little thing, and then it's gone. And that something is so marvelous and so wondrous that it really creates in us this feeling of, of tearful awe, lightning. The sky is so dark. And then in the dark sky, amazing, so amazing and terrifying sometimes, and amazing. When I was a child, I grew up in Florida. I loved storms so much. And Florida definitely has the best storms. They're so amazing and so loud and so full. And I liked them so much on the nights when there were storms. My bed had at my feet, there was a window, and it was a low window. And in the back were just woods because we lived in the countryside. And so usually I would sleep with my head away from the window and my feet near the window. And the nights of storms, I would turn around and I would put my head near the window and look out. And my sister was quite afraid of storms. So until she woke up, she would often wake up crying. Until she woke up, I would actually put the curtain around my head so I could look better. And there it was, lightning. So amazing. This is life. This is all conditioned phenomena. This so wonderful and amazing and so fast. And then when my sister would wake up, I would go and get in bed with her to try to comfort her, you know, full of that awe, perhaps a little reluctant to leave the window, and yet motivated by compassion because I couldn't not do it. She was so little, she was so scared. So of course, I would go there. And this is how we are too. When people are hurting, of course, we want to help them. That's what we do. Are we there yet? So getting attached to things that we like or dislike is the source of our suffering in the world. We like this, we don't like this, or we like this, we don't like this. The thing is, everything is always changing. So as soon as we get stuck on one side, we're setting ourselves up for a great disappointment because what? Things are going to change. Boom. Oh man, I like this one. Come on, get up there. And then they change. Because this is one thing we can be very certain of, is everything changes. Everything changes. And rather than terrifying us, this knowledge that everything changes and everything is impermanent should inspire us, should give us a sense of hope. There's always hope that we can show up in a way that's full of compassion, full of kindness. We can always have this next chance in this moment, in this moment. Things are never fixed. Things that we like are going to leave. Things that we don't like are going to leave. So the best option for all of us is to be here in this moment, but fully in this moment, fully. Yesterday and the last few days have been so full of uncertainty. And, like many of you, I also long for an outcome and, found myself obsessively watching the news. And you know what? Then something will happen and pull me away. Yesterday, it was that I heard from a friend I haven't been in touch with since college. And I was out, so we were talking, I was walking in the woods. And I was so touched and moved to reconnect with somebody who had been so dear to me at one point in my life, and in fact, during a very difficult time of my life. Somebody who had inspired me to practice Buddhism. Somebody who had filled me with stories of Tibet. Somebody who was interested in talking about the greater mysteries of life. And here it was, all these years later, 30 years, reconnecting. What a joy that as I walked in the woods, I forgot all about this not knowing of the election and just really appreciated the autumn leaves, the sound of my friend's voice. And I felt so full and wonderful just by being in the moment. We have this available to us. We can stay with whatever life brings. The things that we like, the things that we don't like, the things that are torturous, the things that are wonderful. We make them torturous or wonderful by being fixed. We can just be with it. And I want to argue today that this is what the world really, really needs of us. So rather than thinking of this as an idea, I want to encourage you to do it. We don't have the luxury of this being an idea. Let's do it. Let's be real. Let's show up. Let's bring our practice, our spiritual practice, to the world around us, to ourselves. Let go of the idea of something getting better or getting worse. Let's just enact better. Just do it. I read a story in the news a few weeks ago that really touched me. And it was that Joe Biden keeps his son Beau's rosary in his pocket. And there was so much about this story that I found inspiring. First of all, it's in the pocket. It's not out. He's not showing it. It's a personal thing. It's quiet. It's grounded. It's in the pocket. And yet his faith is always present with him, wherever he is, whatever he's doing. It implies a groundedness, rooted by faith and compassion, a humility, not a showiness. And perhaps for me, most of all, a deep awareness and personal knowledge of the suffering of the world. It is this suffering, this knowledge of suffering, that allows us to have true compassion. As human beings, we suffer. This is the essential truth of Buddhism. Suffering exists. And it's this suffering this common suffering that connects us from our heart with compassion. It's this suffering that makes us human. It's this suffering that inspires us to be a better leader. I don't know how many of you saw that there was a speech by Cori Bush that she was saying, the thing is about me is I love you. I love you. And because I love you, I don't want to see you go hungry. I want to see you safe. I want to see you protected. This inspires me. And this love, this knowledge of what it is to suffer, comes out of an understanding of our own suffering. Being in touch opens our heart. And it gives me hope. If we can do this as well, connect from our hearts, then we can shine. We can be a light in the world around us, as the Buddha taught us. Hope. There are 3 things we know for sure. We know that suffering exists. We know that everything changes. And we know that there is no me separate from you. In fact, there's nothing that exists separate from everything else. There is no inherent existence. We all suffer. Everything changes. And we're all interconnected. And because of this, we can have hope. This hope is a spark, or a thing with feathers that we can hold and allow to be. Hope is a light that shines our way through these times. Hope is as I've said many times in the last few weeks, hope allows us, not an escape. It's not going to happen. We're not getting out of this. There's no magic wand. There's no leader who can wave their magic wand and eliminate COVID-19. We have a whole lot of suffering going on. There's no leader who can eliminate all hate, all intolerance in the universe. There's no leader who can magically erase our deep racism as a country. But that hope, that led by connected, compassionate heart, can shine the way forward. Because hope is not a way out. Hope is a way through. And we're going to get through this. No matter what the outcome, we're going to get through this. Because there's no other choice. So what I really want to encourage everybody to do is to dig deeply into our practice. We have everything that we need. We have the stillness that we cultivate through our Zazen practice. We have the teachings from the Buddha on how to show up in the world. The teachings on suffering and everything. Everyone suffers. The cessation of suffering is possible. We just have to follow the path. We have the teachings on everything changes. This is the truth. The only thing that doesn't change is change. And we have the teachings that there's no separate self, that you and I are completely connected so that what I do benefits you, what you do benefits me. When I bow to your Buddha nature, you bow to my Buddha nature. And in this way, we bow to the entire universe. This is what we have to offer. And this also gives me hope. View all conditioned existence like this: a dream, a phantom, a flickering lamp, a bubble, a shadow, like dew, a flash of lightning. In Musong's book on the Diamond Sutra, it's this whole academic kind of, not 100% academic, but practice academic unpacking of the Diamond Sutra. And then you get to the very end where this dream comes up. And he says, the Buddha's antidote to despair was not a metaphysically speculative point of view, but an existentially verifiable investigation. Verifiable investigation. The existential despair can be cured only through a wise or transformed view of the human condition, not an intellectual abstraction, but something integral to one's own life. A view that might enable one to live in the world without clinging or aversion. All subsequent developments in Buddhism are in the service of this view. So the worldview of the Diamond Sutra is embedded in the truth of impermanence. Impermanence as an experiential, universal characteristic, rather than a one-time, a localized event. Its purpose has been to show that all phenomenal appearances are not ultimately reality, but constructions or projections of our minds. Practitioners should regard all phenomena in this way, as empty of self-nature and inherently tranquil. All phenomena should be viewed in this way, as empty self-nature and inherently tranquil. All. And what I love about this is that you have this whole, academic unpacking, and you come down to the same thing. It's not dependent on intellectual understanding. It's dependent on what we do, how we are in the world. And this is what I really want to encourage all of us to do today. How do we want to be in this world? What kind of a world do we want to live in? The world that we want to live in is dependent on how we show up in this world. So let's show up in ways that are kind, that are compassionate, that are grounded, humble. Let's show up with an awareness of the suffering of all beings, not just ourselves. Let's show up as a spark, as a light. Let's be the light. Hope is not a way out, it's a way through. And what we hope for is freedom from suffering for every single being in the universe, not ourselves. We hope for freedom from suffering, and this freedom from suffering requires letting go of a particular outcome in each moment. It even requires letting go of hope itself and just being luminous, kind, decent. We can do that. Let's be decent. kind, grounded, and luminous. Because what we need right now in our country is not a fix, not some delusion that we can get rid of this. What we need is a way through it that allows us to connect with each other and to help each other, because we need each other's help so much right now. COVID-19 is at record numbers right now. Let's join together and care for all beings. These times are hard. They're not gonna end soon. We have a hard road ahead of us. So if we don't really double down on our practice and create an example for others in the world, then we ourselves will be mired in this quagmire of endless suffering. So let's shift our focus from the stuff that happens to us to how can we be in this world? From, oh my goodness, is this over yet? I'm suffering, to, okay, it's not over. How can I help? How can I be present? This is hope. And this is the path offered to us from the Buddha. We only have to follow it. Those who have gone before us show us the way. We just need to follow in their footsteps. We have these sparks of hope all around us. We see goodness when we open our eyes to it. We have our teachers. We have the teachings. We have the sun in the sky and the beautiful autumn leaves. These are our teachers, available all around us if we can open our eyes to them. These sparks shine our way forward, inspire us. View all conditioned phenomena as like this: a dream, a phantom, a flickering lamp, a bubble, a shadow. Also like dew, also like a flash of lightning. So beautiful. Please do not waste even one moment of this very precious life that we have. This is our time. Let's show up with kindness, with open hearts, and with care for all beings. Thank you.